Hey y'all, it's Coach K, and I just wanted to come on really quick to talk to you a little bit more about time management. Last week we talked about priorities and how important it was for you to rate your priorities by levels of importance. The reason why this is important is because it allows you to be able to make sure that you prioritize what's the most important, and you will be able to know how much pressure you need to put in every area. When you don't know what your time needs to be spent on, you waste time, and time gets away from you, and you don't maximize your small pockets of time, like those little 15 to 20-minute windows that you have throughout the day. If you're not sure of what you need to prioritize, those little bitty pockets of time can get away from you. And those are really where you win the day, those little small pockets of time. That's why last week we started off with you identifying your priorities and rating them as well. But this week, I want to talk about identifying your natural cadence. And now, when I say natural cadence, I'm talking about how do you naturally flow? Are you an early bird, a middle eagle, or a night owl? Are you more productive in the morning? Are you more productive in the middle of the day or at night, in the midnight hour? Do you burn your candle on both ends? So are you a person that is good at night and good early in the morning? This is something that you need to know about yourself. And if you don't know the answer to this question, you're going to want to test out different times of the day to do some of your tasks to see how you feel and how you kind of flow in that time space. The more you know about you, the better. The more that you can identify what makes you tick, the better, because we can use this information to make your time management better. But if you're a person who do not understand you as an individual and you're not being real with yourself and you're lying to yourself, you're sure to fail numerous times. I'm just going to be honest with you. You want to make sure whenever you take the time to do your self audits, or when you are evaluating yourself after you had a period of time to work something, be honest with yourself and real with yourself. If you know you're a person who's not going to do stuff after a certain time of the day, that means you have to maximize the other times of the day if you want to be able to not do that when you don't want to do it. Or sometimes you don't have the option to say you don't want to do something because you only have a certain amount of time in the day. So at times you're going to have to suck it up and be like, I got to knock this out. But how do we get our mind locked in enough to be able to tackle what needs to be done in a good timely manner? So the first thing is, like I said last week, figuring out what your priorities are and rating them so that you can know how much pressure you need to put on each of them, or what needs to be number 1, 2, or 3. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to identify what times of the day do you believe that you're the most productive. If you don't know, you're going to test it out, and then you'll be able to write that down in your audit. After you do that, I want you to think about what you've learned. You got to evaluate it and chew on what you learned from that little bit of test. And I want you to chew on it, and then I want you to ask yourself, is that truly working for me? Is what I've already identified truly working for me? Or is there something that needs to shift? Do I need to make some adjustments? And be honest there too, because a lot of times we have the time in the day. We have space, we have time, we have everything that we need. We're just not managing it well because we're not telling time what to do. And that's really one of the biggest things. It's once you locked in, you locked in. But we need to figure out what makes you tick and what you naturally do so we can use that to our advantage when it comes to building out your time management process. And the last thing I want you to think about is what you're trying to accomplish. Understanding where you're going helps you with the present moment. I'm not saying live in the future or anything like that, because you really only have the present. But I do believe in thinking about the long game. That means that you have a good strategy in place that's going to help you to make small steps daily towards the ultimate goal that you're leading towards. So I want you to think about what you're trying to accomplish, and I need you to write that down too. Because when you understand where you're trying to go, you can reverse engineer it in a way where it's I've identified that this is where I believe I'm going. Now I have to ask myself what's required of me to get there. And then that helps us with structuring your time management and structuring your tasks and just structuring everything that you got going on and making sure your priorities are in alignment with what the goals are. You can't just change habits and think that you're going to be able to thrive. It's a whole mindset thing. It's a whole spirit thing. Like, you have to be mindful of all of it. You're a whole person. Understanding your priorities and then understanding you is going to be helpful so that we can build out your time management process. So I want y'all to do those couple of steps. And then next week when you come back, we're going to be talking about, shifting your mindset to think differently about time. Because I think a lot of times our hang up is not the fact that we don't have the time. It's about the way that we think about time. I think that shifting your mindset on how you think about time will help you when it comes to changing that narrative around time management. But all right, y'all, I hope that this was helpful. I hope that these questions help you to like have a spark or like an understanding that you may not have had before. And I will be back next week. So y'all come back and we'll keep building on this process to help you build out your time management process. All right, y'all, until next time, stay focused, trust God, and respect the process. I'm Coach K, and I will see y'all next week. All right, bye.